Welcome to the Madison Miller podcast. Tonight's guest is the guest that I've had on the most on this show. He has done some work on his own blog and podcast, The Hard Hits. And his name is Derek Brandon Felix. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Madison. It is great to be back on.
It is great to be back on. So, as you know, earlier today I recorded my 1000th podcast, and you were one of the first guests I've had on the show since I expanded it past YouTube, and you've just been reliable ever since in terms of a great guest. And I just want to say thank you for always coming on and offering to come on when I would like you to have on.
I just want to say congratulations, Madison, on 1,000. That's pretty incredible, that you actually have done that many podcasts, and it is always a pleasure to be part of it, and you're welcome, of course, and it's great. I'm honored to actually be part of this, and until I've been on the most times, even though I don't like to toot my own horn too much, but all right.
Yeah. Well, it's been a lot of fun memories. I think did you do Bracket of Pain with me or Bracket of Glory? I think it was Pain. I think I had you for Bracket of Pain.
I think it was Pain.
I think I had you on for Pain. I think I've had a couple other people on for Pain. Of our friend James Selson, maybe it was Nick Caruso. Nick Caruso I might have had on for Glory. Dan Wheeler might have been on for Pain. Or no, Dan Wheeler was Glory. George Brew was Glory. But yeah, we've had a couple of our mutual friends on for those shows as well. I remember I had you on when the Rangers made the changes in the front office and our coaching change last May. There's a lot of memories I've had you on in the past. Obviously, a lot of playoffs for all the sports and just random stuff as well. So, yeah, 1,000, and cheers to 1,000 more.
You know what? Just keep doing what you're doing. You've gotten some really good guests. You've gotten some great guests, too. I mean, I listened to your 1,000 before, and hearing you talk about Richard Grouse and talk about some of the other people that you've had, you got a format that works. So just, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
That's one thing I couldn't tell you. That's it.
Yeah, Butcher Cross was just fabulous, and I know you've crossed paths with John before as well, and then I gave a couple of people shout-outs who I'd like to have on, too, and I mentioned fellow Rangers fan and big hockey fan, someone that we both have met, Linda Cohn. That's somebody else I'd love to have on, and I think I even told John when I had him on the show, tell Linda Cohn I said hi. That's just a funny random memory that I've had on when John came on the show a couple years ago.
I think Linda's great.
I think Linda's amazing, too.
Yeah, she really is, and she's still there, and she's been doing it for so long. I mean, she's been doing it so long. Geez. I remember she was doing Sports Center, and I was like a 9th grader in high school. That's how long she's been there. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she would just be really fabulous if I were able to have her on the show. The U.S. Open was an event that happened over the weekend, the finals, and it was a very shocking. Let's start with the women's, because I feel like that's where the surprises came. All the big stars got knocked out early. Ashley Barty knocked out early, and then obviously Serena didn't participate, and then you had all these crazy upsets, and then Emma Raducanu ended up winning the whole thing. What did you make of the women's side of the U.S. Open?
Honestly, that was the best, the most exciting thing that I've seen. I've watched tennis a long time, and first off, I've never heard the crowd so loud. The last time the crowd was that loud was probably when Jimmy Connors made his amazing run to the semifinals at 39, 1991 actually. So that was 30 years ago. Well, one thing I'm going to say though, they had fans back, and those fans made a huge difference. I mean, pushing Emma Raducanu and Leylah Fernandez, they were so behind Leylah Fernandez, and in those 3-set wins that she had, I mean, just it You know what? In all honesty, it was incredible. It started with Layla beating Osaka, who she shouldn't have been on the court. You know, she has a lot of issues, obviously. And I pretty much commented, like, she just doesn't look happy. She doesn't look like she wants to be on the court. And when Layla Fernandez won that match, you know, she became the story because the crowd pushed her so much. She used the crowd. And Emma Raducanu she was this girl from Great Britain and who had appeared at Wimbledon. That was her only Grand Slam appearance, Madison, because she started playing WTA in June. And at her maiden slam, which her home slam, she got to the fourth round and it became too much for her. She had breathing issues, had a little bit of an anxiety attack, and she had to pull out of her fourth round match. And so I knew of her, but I was just like, she had to qualify to get in, meaning you have to win 3 matches. So she had to win that. And the most amazing thing about it is that she won 10 matches. She didn't lose a set. And even when it got tough, when the opponents finally got tough, when she faced Maria Sakkari, and I thought Sakkari was playing the best, and she beat her easy. And it's incredible. I mean, it's an incredible story. And then, of course, you have Novak Djokovic, and I know he didn't win, but that was a great story the whole year. So the U.S. Open was awesome.
Yeah, Djokovic, I'm actually somewhat surprised he lost the final. What do you make of Daniil Medvedev beating him out on the men's side?
I think he was ready. I remember watching him against Nadal 2 years ago in 2019, and that feels like so long ago, where it looked like Nadal was going to win in straight sets, and he's up stats, and he's up a break, and then Medvedev just started playing better, and I was like, this guy is really good. Like, he had a summer coming into that event, and he makes his first final, and like, wow, this guy has a very unique style. He can hit, he's really good from the baseline, can run pretty well, defends extremely well, kind of played like a brick wall. And then he lost to Djokovic in Australia. Djokovic beat him in straight sets. And the feeling after that is that he went away. He lost, I think, 7-5, 6-2, 6-2. And Medvedev, going into this tournament, felt like he's in it to win it. He's not there. You know, people aren't in there just to give Djokovic the title. Novak's incredible. He really is. To win that many matches in a row at a Grand Slam, the 27-match win streak, after how last year ended for him, we had to be defaulted because if you got to let the emotions get the best of him. The match that he had against Nadal, the comeback against Tsitsipas and Roland Garros, and then to win Wimbledon. And it's not like he wasn't tested. He came back from 2 sets a couple of times. He had some 4-set matches against Berrettini. I think he had too much. Probably he played too many sets. And Medvedev had an easy semifinal against Felix Auger-Aliassime. I call him FAA. Everybody does. And Novak had to play Zverev. Zverev pushed him 5 sets. And he also had to go 4 sets against Berrettini. He kept dropping the first set. I think that Medvedev was just really fresh. And he played incredible tennis, too. That's why he won 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. And Novak just wasn't at his best.
Yeah, good for Medvedev. Just happy to see him win. So let's go to football. Want to start with our team, or do you want to go around the league? Let's get the Giants out of the way, then we'll just make a bigger picture NFL. We'll start with the Giants and the Jets, and then we'll expand it.
Yeah.
What did you make of the Giants and the Jets week 1? I know both of them looked bad and all, but do you think there's a chance that maybe they'll show some optimism for the rest of the year?
Oh God, it's tough. You know, we're both Giant fans. I mean, all they do is they missed the playoffs, with the exception of the 1 year under what was it, Shermer?
No, it was Ben McAdoo.
Oh my God, it was. Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, 2016.
But yeah, they did have that one good year with him, and it's been all downhill. It's just, I feel like I was thinking about it, and I feel like Alfred's Brian. Brian was more optimistic about the Giants, thinking like they could win 9 games, and I started thinking about the NFC East. You know how last year we called it the NFC least, but
it still might be the NFC least.
Until Fitzpatrick went down, I thought Washington was going to be good. I picked them to win the division because I think their defense is going to be real good. I like their running back Gibson, and if Fitzpatrick goes down, now it's going to be on the shoulders of their backup who came in the wild card game last year against Tampa, and actually they actually gave Tampa a game. I mean, I think I like their coach, obviously. I think the Cowboys, obviously, they have a great offense. Defense is going to be an issue probably all year. I know they give Tampa a game. And the Eagles, I don't know, they're kind of an interesting team. I mean, I know they went up against the Falcons, but they got Devontae Smith, and he's gonna be up there, when it comes to offensive rookie of the year. And I saw him catch his first touchdown. They might actually be better than I think. And it's like, I don't know. And maybe, I think 10, whoever gets to 10, because I think someone will get to 10, will win the division. But I just feel like the Giants, unless their offensive line comes together, Andrew Thomas, and obviously the defense is going to have to do better than they did against Bridgewater. I'm sure they will. I think they were just on the field a lot. And there's the whole thing with Saquon and with Daniel Jones. So it's like, I just don't know how good they're going to be. And I'm going to say this too, Madison. They have to win this game tomorrow night. There is no excuse not to. I know it's a short week, but they have their backup in there. You know what? If they want to give themselves a chance, they have to win that game tomorrow in Hanover. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think there's a chance they do win. Daniel Jones always plays well against Washington for whatever reason. Daniel Jones tends to stink against everybody else and play well against the Washington professional football team for whatever reason. I don't know why. Am I going to pick the Giants to win tomorrow? Maybe, maybe not. I really don't know if I'm going to pick them to win tomorrow night or not. I'm still undecided about that. But Daniel Jones is undefeated against Washington, and that's just something to keep in mind. How about the Jets?
If I was a Jets fan, I'd actually be more optimistic about them because, they play Carolina, and I actually think Carolina could be good. They could be decent. I think Carolina relied a lot on Christian McCaffrey, in his first game back, but I think that's a good fit for Sam Darnold. But I watched a good chunk of that, and Zach Wilson threw a couple of touchdowns, and they were in that game, and their defense did all right. And the thing with them is they don't really have a lot of weapons on offense, so it's like, they're probably not going to score a lot of points. But the fact that the kid settled in, threw a couple of touchdowns, that's good. And they got a new coach there, Robert Saleh, and I think he's going to do a good job. He's going to establish a different kind of culture. Obviously, he's more of a defensive guy. And so if I were a Jet fan, look, I know their division is great. That's a great division. It's very tough. And they're probably not going to win many games, but I think it's just about the development. It's about the development of the kid, Wilson. And if I was a Jet fan, I'd be happy with what they did and what he did in the first week. And I think I would just go week by week and just pay attention to the small details with them and see what happens. That's what's the process.
Yeah, I didn't mind Zach Wilson in that game, weirdly enough. Yeah, he threw an interception, but I feel like he kind of got better as that game went on. And I don't think Carolina is as good as you think they are. I was not impressed with them on Sunday, and I just think that there's some weaknesses on their roster on defense, and they're young on the defensive side of the ball too. And I do like Matt Rule, by the way. They're similar to the Giants in a way, except to me the Giants' questions come with quarterback and offensive line, and Carolina's is strictly on the defensive side of the ball. I think they're very similar. And the Dolphins, I think you could argue, are in that kind of group as well.
It's funny because I like the Dolphins a lot. Obviously, I still don't know how good Tua's going to be, in terms of throwing the football. But, yeah, obviously, the coach is really good. They have an excellent defense. They're gonna grind you down. They're gonna win a lot of low scoring games probably. I expect them to definitely be one of the wild card teams.
I don't know if the Dolphins are a playoff team, really. I just think that the AFC is too strong. And I had questions about their offensive line, quite frankly. I just think that, I just thought that they were going to have a hard time protecting Tua. I was surprised to how well their offensive line played up in the New England game the other day. And I really am high on New England. I think New England might be a playoff team in the AFC, not Miami. But I might be wrong. You never know. So what was your biggest surprise of week 1, just in general?
Yeah, I was going to talk about the fact that game on Monday night was pretty surprising, I thought. I know the Ravens, they've got injuries, and they lost their running back, Robbins, and they have guys that went down. And so I thought that was a little bit of a surprise. That was kind of an ugly, it's weird. That was an entertaining, it was like an ugly game for a while. I watched the third quarter. I watched both Eli and Peyton. I like that. I thought that was pretty interesting to watch. And then all of a sudden it got really interesting in the fourth quarter. And it's both teams tried to give the game away, especially the Vegas Raiders. And it's still strange to say that, but the Ravens should have won. It's I don't know how they didn't win, but definitely that was a little bit of a surprise. I think there was obviously another one from somebody we know real close, the Bills. I mean, they lost at home to the Steelers, and it's not like it's not like it was a high scoring game or anything, but Steelers. And interestingly enough, Brian, he does a podcast as well, and Beyond 716, I think so, on the Anchor, and he did this thing where he talked about how Josh Allen against the Steelers in his 2 games, it hasn't really been all that great. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much I want to say that it was shocking, but it was. Maybe it was just a little surprising, and I'm kind of interested in how that game goes between the Bills and the Dolphins this weekend. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I was somewhat surprised that the Bills didn't put the Steelers away soon enough, but I had a feeling around halftime that the Steelers had a shot to come back and win. I just didn't love that the Bills just let them hang around. I thought that was surprising, and Pittsburgh took advantage. T.J. Watt was just a monster, and I think that Pittsburgh might be a playoff team in the AFC. I didn't think that maybe 2 weeks ago, but Baltimore's injuries and whatnot, I think that Pittsburgh might make it instead of them. What about your biggest disappointment? I think I know where you're going with this.
Biggest disappointment? I gotta think about that. That's actually a good question.
I know what mine is. I told you this the other day.
Oh, well, I would have expected. I think we're probably on the same page now. I think about it because I don't think anybody is better than them in their division. It'd probably be the Packers, only scoring 3 points against the Saints. And I told you they just had a feeling that the Saints were gonna. I don't know. I just thought about it. It was after the fact. I didn't expect the Saints to win 38-3. I just felt like maybe the fact that the Saints were home and everybody was picking the Packers. I hate when everybody just picks the Packers, and I do think there's a little weird thing with Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not saying that they won't bounce back, but I don't think that was a very shocking result. Shocking to get beat by like that.
Oh, the Yankees just took the lead.
They did?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Brett Gardner, bloop single. Just had to break that news into you right now on the podcast. I love doing podcasts when games are on. I think there's been several times I've had you on and say the Yankees or the Knicks or the Rangers are playing. I don't think we've ever done one with the Giants playing. But I know we've done several with the Yanks on, several with the Rangers, maybe one with the Knicks. And I feel like James Sellison I've had on with a couple of the teams on as well when I've had him on too. But yeah, bloop single, Brett Gardner, 2-run scores, and it's raining in Baltimore too, by the way. And they're still playing amazingly enough. And I'm surprised they're still playing right now. And it's pouring there in Baltimore.
I'm just happy. You know what? Yeah, I think that rain's coming. Like it was supposed to come this way. I know that, but like, you know, I was telling you right before how upset I was about Chad Green giving up another home run. And I was like, is he going to give up another home run? And then, of course, I had it on my phone, and I'm just like, oh, God, not again. Why can't they beat the Orioles? Why can't they beat this team? It's just, every game with them, it's just like, oh, God, it's just...
Yeah, I knew this game wasn't over. It's still the Orioles and the Yankee... I still just believe in the Yankee offense. For whatever reason, I just believe in their offense. And Chapman's looked better, so I won't be shocked if they close this one out and steal this one back from the Orioles here.
They need it.
They need it. I think they're gonna. I think I'm confident. I'm actually confident in Chapman. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Look, as long as he has a good slider, he's got good movement on that pitch, and it's moving down, and he uses his splitter enough because we know his fastball could go over the place. I think he'll be okay. So let's just hope. Let's hope for it. That's all I can say, because they need every game.
They need every game. I think it's going to be Yanks against the Blue Jays. I don't know where they'll play. I don't think Boston makes, so that's how I think it's going to play out.
I hope you're right about that.
I really do. By the way, I think Toronto can win the World Series. I'm just throwing that take out there right now. I think the Blue Jays, I'm drinking their Kool-Aid.
You're not the only one who thinks that they can do well. I just think I like the moves that they made, and they definitely improved their pitching staff more than I thought. Getting the starter from the Twins,
Barrios, he's been fabulous.
Barrios, yeah. Yeah, it's pronounced differently. And he gave them a good start, 7 innings. Like, they have the best lineup, top to bottom. Guerrero Jr. and Semien. And Teoscar Hernandez is so overlooked. And, like, the only question I have is just about, them closing games. But, like, their offense is so explosive. I feel like they're like the second best team in the AL right now. I see them in the ALCS. I see them playing for the LCS. That's what I think.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to be having like Toronto Astros or Toronto White Sox potentially in the ALCS. I might pick the Blue Jays to come out of the American League if their pitching holds up. I'm more worried about their bullpen than their starting pitching. Oh, did the Orioles just make an error? It looks like they did. Off the glove of the shortstop. And Gardner safe.
Laboratories.
Very funny. By the way, that's a prediction for another day. I think he's going to get traded. I really do.
Well, I mean, we could always talk about that, during the off season. I mean, I've been saying for a while, I've been adamant about it, that he's just not a shortstop and he needs to be moved back to second. I don't know why they waited so long. I mean, he cost them that 3-run home run against Lindor. Everybody was killing the kid Schmidt, but they would have been out of the inning. It's a shame. I don't know what's going to happen there, but hopefully there's not going to be too many more E6s.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got a little bit of baseball talk in there. We'll go back to football, then we'll go back to baseball and talk about the Mets.
Okay.
So we're talking about the Packers. But, yeah, that's my biggest disappointment. Runner-up to the Tennessee Titans, too, by the way, Derek. I was very disappointed in them. That was another team I bet on.
I couldn't believe that. I was very surprised by that as well. So, I do think they're a really good team. So I would expect them to bounce back. I also feel like you talk about football, Madison, everybody likes to talk about the Steelers. Well, not the Steelers. All people will be talking about them now, but people like to talk about, of course, the Chiefs. And why not? Because of, they came back against the Browns, and everybody likes to talk about the Ravens. They like to talk about the Bills, but I don't know about you, but I feel like the Cleveland Browns, that's a team that nobody's talking about. And yeah, they wound up giving the Chiefs game. I know they didn't win the game, but I think that's a team that I will keep an eye on. I think the Browns are a team to watch out for.
I think that the Browns are going to probably win their division. I think that them and the Bills have kind of been like the most talked about in terms of who can challenge the Chiefs for the AFC crown, but I was more in favor of Buffalo than Cleveland before the year, only because I believed in Josh Allen more than Baker, and that's what it came down to me. And I thought the Bills roster was a little bit better from like an upside standpoint, but the Browns are right there. Maybe, you know what it is? It's probably the Odell stink for me with the Browns, to be honest. I just don't...
Well, you know what, the crazy part, I was reading about Odell, and I didn't realize he didn't play. He was out for the game on Sunday, which was a great game, and he is not going to play week 2. So he's still recovering.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like their running back. I really like their running game, too. I think that's one of the reasons why I like them. Because, yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of balance to them. And they do have a good pass rush. I mean, obviously, you never want to blow a game like that, but it was the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs. And the Chiefs have an all-world offense. And when you're going up against them, it's like it's pick your poison. It's pick your poison between Kelsey and Ty Hill, and there will be a good third option, and like their running back is a good second-year running back, and of course, then you got to go up against Mahomes. It's very tough. They're very tough.
They are a tough out.
They will score.
They're gonna match anybody in a scoring match for sure.
In the scoring department, yeah, absolutely.
I still think their defense is a little bit vulnerable, though.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, I definitely agree with you on that. And I'm curious to see how their offensive line holds up. They rebuilt their offensive line a little bit. So, I mean, are you as high on the Rams as everybody is?
I picked them to win their division, but I did not pick them to go to the conference championship game. I took Bucks and Green Bay in the conference title game, only because I just thought that Aaron Rodgers would have a chip on his shoulder as the Orioles pitcher throws a wild pitch, 2 on with 1 out with DJ LeMahieu at the plate. I love doing like baseball play-by-play or any sport play-by-play when I have guests on. I know I keep said that earlier in the show.
This show reminds me so much of some of my old like hard hit shows when I used to do all my shows on Block Talk, where I'd have the TV on in the background, and I'd be doing the same thing as you. And it's just like, can I just ask you one thing?
Sure.
Is this still in the 9th inning, or is it in the 10th inning by now?
Oh no, ninth. Chad Green.
Oh my God.
Chad Green gave up the homer in the 8th. Yanks are in the 9th.
Yeah.
They're in the 9th, and there's only 1 out. DJ LeMahieu grounds out the home as they had the infield in. God. So now 2 outs, runners on the corner. But yeah, that's so funny. I remember you doing like play-by-play stuff on hard hits with JPG and stuff in the past too. Now that you mentioned that, like one of my favorite hard hits.
JPG is coming back.
I know, that's exciting.
That's crazy.
Very exciting.
What were you gonna say? What was your favorite? What was your favorite? You actually do have a favorite?
Yeah, I will never forget. I was listening to you guys live one night, and I remember there was a brawl in a Lakers game. Like LeBron was involved. LeBron was on the Lakers, and I think Chris Paul was on Houston. There was like a brawl.
Oh, yes, I do actually.
And I remember listening live, and I think you gave me a shout out on the show.
I probably did, and I'm sure I probably got into an argument with JPG over LeBron. The fact, I do remember it. I don't know. I mean, you never when we did those shows, you just never knew what was going to happen. I mean, it was just, I mean, whether it was that or Peyton Manning, the Peyton Manning prank or what, guys.
Yeah.
Happened. But, I mean, my God. I really did have fun doing those shows. Now, I mean, I'm on Anchor like you, and the fact that you're doing like a lot of different, your podcast is a little more available. I'm just like building back up. I changed. I'm actually a fan from Staten Island, NYC. So
that's right.
That's the name. That's the name of my show. I haven't done one in a couple of days. I'm probably gonna do one after. So I'm probably gonna do. It's probably gonna be mostly baseball. I did plenty of tennis, and it's just I want to do baseball and maybe do a little bit on the Giants. Because it's a big game for them. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it is a big game. And I saw that you called Daniel Jones Daniel Fumbles because he fumbled like 30 times in his career. Right?
Like 39 or some crazy number like that.
Oh my God. How many has he lost? 15, 16?
I thought it was 39 turnovers, to be honest.
If you're counting the
interceptions, maybe, yeah. But that's not, it's funny, but at the same time, it's not funny that the Danny Fumbles nickname. I've been calling him that since his rookie year, and it's just so. Oh my goodness, I'm fascinated for the.
So excited, he got us so excited, and then.
That's because we were watching Eli Manning on being washed up, and it was sad.
I know. I mean, I don't know. Some people still say he's going to be a good quarterback, but if it doesn't happen this year, they're going to pull the plug. It's just how it works now in the NFL.
Yeah, just look at what the Jets with Sam Darnold last year. That's exactly what I compared it to before the season.
That was a good comparison by you. I mean, yeah. I mean, at this point, he has to. I'm not saying that they have to make the playoffs, but if he doesn't take steps in the right direction and get hold of this and just do a better job at limiting the mistakes or the takeaways, they're going to start over.
Yeah, and that's just crazy to think about. But yeah, let's transfer back to baseball and talk about the other team in town, the other disappointing team in New York, which is the New York Mets, who lost a heartbreaker last night to the Cardinals. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think Luis Rojas is very likely to be fired, as is Aaron Boone, as I've talked about several times already on this podcast. But what do you make about the Mets and their bullpen woes and what's to come for them?
I have a couple of schools of thought on this, Madison, because I've been following the Mets a lot lately, and I've been watching them, and they've had every opportunity, to stay in this race because every team lost last night in front of them. All they had to do was win, and they would have evened up their series against the Cardinals, who I think were what I just feel like they're gonna get the second wild card. They're gonna get in because they're just gritty and they're scrappy. They can put together hits. They don't just hit home runs. It's not just Goldschmidt and Tyler O'Neill and Arenado. But they have these other guys. They're just scrappy. They're scrappy enough to find ways to get hits. And that game was a killer for the Mets last night. Baez has been unbelievable. He's been unbelievable since he came off the DL. And he looks like he has no problem playing in New York after that whole thing with the thumbs down, which was just stupid. And I think that had more to do with Lindor. But, I mean, it's both of them. And I just don't understand. And Lindor picked his great ball, his his first Mets ballman, hit it with 3 home runs. And I'm like, congratulations, you just eliminated the Yankees for the playoffs. But maybe I was being too facetious stated. But that was a crushing loss. I mean, but the Mets are just. I watched Luis Rojas, right? I watched Rojas in the post game last night after they lost that game. After Lindor grounded out, he grounded first to Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt threw home. I think it was a 1-2-5 double play. I've never seen that before after the Cardinals didn't score. And one of the questions they asked is, well, Stroman's pitched great for them. He's been their ace since DeGrom went down. He came in with a 2.88 ERA. Why couldn't he pitch more than 6 innings? and he says, "Oh well, he was fatigued. He's fatigued. He couldn't go back out there." And they asked him, "Did he specifically tell you that?" And he's like, "No." And this is the problem that I have. It's like Louis Rojas is just analytics. He's just a robot. I mean, what are they going to do? All right, yeah, he's made a lot of mistakes, and he's been critiqued for them, but the analytics are so absurd now that, like, that press conference was just awful. I couldn't believe what I heard, and I was just like, all right, yeah, so what are they going to do? They're going to fire their manager, but even if you fire the manager, you still have to fix the roster. And they have a lot of guys that, like Lugo, May, who's hit or miss, and I think there's just too over-reliance on the bullpen. We've seen it with the Yankees a while ago when he went down. That hurt.
Oh my God.
Baseball's very tough. It's just a different game now. It's tough to watch sometimes.
It is tough to watch. So we talked about the Blue Jays earlier. Do you see anybody other than the Dodgers potentially going to the World Series in the National League? I would be surprised if the Dodgers aren't in there, to be honest.
I think, I'm not ready. I'm not going to lock in on my dad's Giants because I just don't know what to expect. They've been an incredible story. They're the best story of the baseball season.
By far.
What they've done. I just think they have a lot of depth. They have a lot of depth, and when you have that kind of depth, that can get you far. But even if I was the Dodgers, and not that I would expect them to lose, but I would not want to see the Cardinals at a one-off. I'm being very honest about that. I wouldn't want to see the Cardinals. And I know my dad, I said, you better get the division because you don't want to see the Cardinals in that one game play-in. Because that's play-in, basically. It's a one-off. The Brewers. I'm going to say the Brewers.
That's not a bad choice.
Because the Brewers, they have the pitching.
They do.
They have the pitching. The hitting is a little streaky. That trade for Willie Adames, or I think that's his name, or Adams, that was a really good move. And how about Garcia? He's been a big surprise for them. Ryan Bourne just announced his retirement. The Cy Young is basically a two-horse race. Obviously, Max Scherzer, he's been incredible. He has been incredible, but the Brewers, they have a couple of guys there that their 1 through 3 is good, and their bullpen, the end of the game with Vader, it's good. I mean, if there is a team, right? If there's one team that could get to the, and I said this to Brian too. I was telling him if I was like you, and I'm one of those people that parlayed. Yeah, I would look at what the Brewers' odds are going in. I would put 100 on the Brewers because I think the odds are going to be good for them. I think the Brewers. That's the one team that I would pick aside from the Dodgers.
I agree with you, and I think that was a wise choice. They do have the pitching that can carry them for sure.
They got a manager too.
Yep.
I think he's one of the best managers for Council. he just knows how to manage. I know they lost today, but Peralta is their third starter. That is a good team right there. I know they play in a crummy division. I understand that, but Corbin Burns is a horse, and him and Scherzer. I'm sure they'll probably give it to Scherzer, but you can make a great argument for Corbin Burns. That's a real good team right there, and they're a team. Obviously they're going to need Yelich to probably hit a little more.
Yep.
Picking up Eduardo Escobar was a good pickup for them. Colton Wong, actually, the ex-Cardinal.
Yeah.
A nice help for them. They got the defensive guy in Bradley, who they could bring into games late.
They have the former Ray.
Has World Series experience. So they have some World Championship experience on their team. I'm very curious to see how they do.
Me
I'm
too.
Curious to see how they do. That's the team. That's the one team that I would pick. American League, I kind of agree with you. You said you like the Blue Jays. Why not? Why not?
They're red hot.
The Astros are good. So are the White Sox. It's a pick'em series.
I think the AL's wide open.
I agree with you. I think the American League is wide open, and I don't know what's going to happen. And you know what? I think that makes it more exciting. It's kind of like how the U.S. Open was with the women, when the upsets that you have with Osaka and all those players going down. I think that's what makes it fun. That's what makes sports fun.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this. As the Yankees hang on for a 4-3 victory, if Chad Green's fixed, if Chad Green gets fixed, I'm not writing off the Yankees for the American League yet. If they fix Chad Green, if he's not fixed, then forget about it. But if he gets fixed somehow, like how they fixed Chapman earlier, like a couple weeks ago, I feel like they fixed Chapman a little bit. If they fix Chad Green, I'm not writing the Yankees off yet.
Who is your... Because I've been thinking about this for a while, and because I just think that he deserves so much praise. And, yeah, we talk about, Judge and how awesome he's, if he doesn't finish in, like top 4 or 5 in MVP, there's something wrong, because he's been incredible.
He might be
he's
third.
Just incredible.
I think he's going to finish third behind Ohtani and Vlad.
You know what? Sign him. I don't have any doubts anymore about him. Getting him that rest helped. And you know what? I want to give Giancarlo Stanton a lot of credit, too, because he handles himself so well. And, he's never going to hit, 50-plus home runs anymore. But you know what? Him and Judge are very productive. And they're doing it. And they come up with a lot of big hits for this team. But I honestly think that Nestor Cortez, if they get into wild card and they do make it to the division series, I gotta pitch him in one of the games because he's been unbelievable. He's been incredible.
I think they are gonna pitch Cortez in the game. I honestly think it's gonna be Garrett Cole, Cortez, and then like the Tyone Kluber combination. If they revert back to what Tyone was in August and what Corey Kluber was in May before he got injured. And those are the other two questions I have with the Yanks.
I don't know. Would you throw Montgomery over Kluber?
Oh my God, I forgot about Jordan Montgomery. I know you like him a lot. I do too, but I don't know. I gravitate more towards Tyone and Kluber more so than Montgomery from an upside standpoint. That's probably why.
What they could do? Because Kluber has big game experience, they probably, and they do make it and they get to the division series, he'll probably be in the top 3. And they could have Cortez ready to go if Kluber struggles.
Yeah, I think Cortez is a good candidate for that as well. Michael King pitched great yesterday. He's so much better as a reliever than as an opener / starter.
Some pitchers are like that, though. I mean, when Mariano Rivera first got his start, he had one great start where he threw 9 innings, but in the other starts he got bombed, and he was just better out of the bullpen. And I've always said that one of the injustices, and I know it's like a word that you don't usually use when it comes to baseball and awards, but him not getting the Cy Young in 1996 when he was the bridge, and he's pitching 2 innings, he should have won the Cy Young that year. I think Pat Henkin got it over Pettit, and nobody could tell me Mariano Rivera wasn't more valuable, wasn't the best pitcher that year. In the 96, when they won in 96, he was.
He was. Absolutely. And to me, he's just the best to ever do it at his position, and no one's ever going to be Mariano Rivera. Okay, one last thing before we go. What was it? Oh, hockey season's starting in a couple of weeks, and what is the one thing you're looking forward to? It doesn't have to be the Rangers, but just one thing you're looking forward to. I'll probably have you on once the season starts, obviously.
What is one thing I'm looking forward to? Oh wow, this is a good question. You know what? I'm gonna go with something that's just a little different. I mean, look, there's always going to be player movement and changes, and yeah, I will look forward to seeing how the Seattle Kraken look and how they do, and I'll be pulling for Colin Blackwell because I really liked him on the Rangers, so that's one of them. God, I just think I'm looking forward to seeing the coverage on TNT and ESPN, especially TNT. I want to see if they make it like they've done everything else. They did baseball that way. They've done basketball, and they got a guy with a great sense of humor who hosted NBC hockey, and Liam McHugh. I think that's a great hire. I like him. He's got personality. And they brought in Gretzky to be one of the analysts. And they also brought in Paul Bissonnette. He's going to be one of the guys rotating in there. And I'm curious to see how that whole is going to work out. So I'm looking forward to that. You got Kenny as the number one guy. And you have Brendan Burke, Mr. Allender himself. And he's great. Those are your two teams for those Wednesday games.
On Turner.
So I'm kind of looking forward. I'm looking forward to that. And I'm really hoping, that ESPN does a real good job with it returning there. So I'm, it's not so much a team. When we get closer, I'll zero in on that. I'm excited for the Rangers. I think they could compete for a wild card. It's a tough division, but I think they could finish fourth and they get in there. But it's gonna be fun. It's going to be exciting, and I can't believe the hockey's actually going to be back. That's crazy.
I'm so excited for this season. But yeah, the thing I'm looking forward to the most, you mentioned something that I forgot about, which is the broadcasting, with Turner and ESPN.
Yeah.
Do you know who the lead for ESPN's going to be? I'm very fired up that Kenny got Turner, by the way.
Wouldn't it be
Steve Levy, you would think? Should be Steve Levy.
I don't think. No, Steve Levy is actually not going to be the broadcast. He's actually, and I was a little disappointed with that because,
too.
He's actually going to do, I think, studio. I think he's doing studio.
What about Buccigross?
Which is a little surprising. Yeah, Buccigross.
Oh my God! Imagine that.
Going to be, yeah, I know he's going to be doing it. So that's a little different. It's a little different, but there also were some real good hires. I like having Mark Messier and Chris Chelios. They're going to be part of it, so I kind of like that. I think Messier is just so. I think Messier will be so good as an analyst. I mean, because he just gets it. He gets the dynamic. So maybe that's why I'm curious to see how Gretzky does. And Gretzky has as much knowledge as anybody. So you have also Sean McDonough.
He's good.
To this. Yeah, he can do anything though. Bob Wischusen also supposed to get some.
I heard that one. I forgot about that. I did hear that. That'd be fun. That's
an interesting one.
I love it.
He's pretty good
New York guy.
He is real good on football. The last time I heard Wischusen, he was calling Jaromir Jagr scoring, I think, his 600th goal or something. I remember that. He was on the call for that. It was a Sunday night game when Sam Martin was doing football. And Wischusen got to call Jagr's goals when he wound up scoring number, I think, 600. Kevin Weeks, though. I mean, I love Kevin Weeks. And Kevin Weeks, to me, he has such a wealth of knowledge if you watch him on NHL Network. I hope that he becomes a general manager or some president, because I really think he's going to deserve that pretty soon. He's a rising star in the industry.
Absolutely. And you really stole my thunder. You did mention one thing I was looking forward to. I was going to go with the Seattle Kraken. That's what I'm looking forward to see. I don't think they're going to be good, but I'm just interested to see who benefits from a potential change of scenery. Going to Seattle. I know they signed some big names in free agency and whatnot.
How is Grubauer, Philip Grubauer, who had a great year with the Avalanche, and now he's playing on Seattle. I mean, if you were a fantasy hockey owner and you were banking on keeping Grubauer, I got some bad news for you.
I know.
I mean, so I'm curious to see. I think they have good goaltending. They brought the underrated backup in from the Panthers.
Yeah.
So they brought him in, and they signed Grubauer, and they were smart enough to trade Vitek, Vanacek back to the Caps.
Absolutely.
Get, I think a second round, I think, picked. I thought that was a good move.
Yup.
So I never, like, when they drafted him, when they took him, I was like, this doesn't make sense. And they wound up trading him back, and I just thought that was good. All right, that makes sense. That's a good move.
Yeah, because you thought there was a chance that he was going to be their starter. Then they signed Grubauer. Then I'm thinking, then there's rumors, I'll never forget it. There were rumors came out that said, Washington interested in bringing back Vitek Vanacek, and ultimately they pulled the trigger that day, and he was back in D.C. So, the Capitals, I think it was good on their end to bring him back as well, because I think there's a chance he might be better than Ilya Samsonov.
I really feel like if they're going to go anywhere, they probably need Samsonov to be the guy, but Vanacek's a good option for them. So
Vanacek's good.
They have a 1A and a 1B. I just don't know about the defense. I thought they got exposed. And this whole thing with Yevgeny Kuznetsov, I mean, they have to get rid of him. I mean, what are they going to do with him? That's a team. I think that team's going to miss the playoffs. I don't know. I think them and the Pens are in trouble. That's what I think.
I think the Penguins are in trouble too, and Washington. And that's if you're making the case for the Rangers, that one of those teams falls apart. And if you're making a case for Philly as well, don't forget, I think Philly's an absolute bounce-back candidate this season as well. Don't forget about this. It pains me to say it, but I think the Flyers.
They had a good offseason.
Absolutely.
But we can talk so much more in depth about this. I mean, it is just an honor and a pleasure to be part of your 1,001st show and to be recognized by you in your 1,000th. I thought that was awesome, and outstanding job by you. And I know how hard you work, and you're very busy all the time, and just keep doing it and keep shining and reaching out, and you're going to do great.
Thanks. I really appreciate it. Yeah, you deserve the shout out on the show today. I mentioned you quite a couple times because I did the second half of today's show is pretty much podcast memories and talking.
Yeah,
and
I listened to it. There was a lot of interesting stuff. You were talking about, some of your hot takes, what you got right, what you got wrong.
Oh,
it was pretty fun to listen to.
Yeah.
It was fun to listen to. I like that.
There's some that I left out, but that's okay. I just picked out the notable ones that I've got right and wrong.
Everybody leaves out stuff. But I also think sometimes you don't want to remember certain things that you said either. So
that's true.
I've been there.
Absolutely.
Trust me.
Alrighty, so it was a pleasure to have you on for my 1,001st show, and hopefully I'll have you on next month to talk hockey once the whole thing's back and rolling.
Thank you for having me, Madison, and we'll be catching up online when we have a chance, and I hope everything's going well for you, all right?
All right, same to you. Have a good night.
You too.